I decided to check in on our garden tower. This is the first tower that we created. I was just driving by on my scooter and I thought, I wonder how the worms are doing. And I just forked it and I saw worms immediately on the top. We had fed it some food scraps and look at the worms. There they are. So here they are in the food. These are a mixture of red worms and some native worms. So there they are. This is you can see how wet this material is. We have holes in the lid, and so we had a rain shower the other day. We measured on our rain gauge. We got 6 millimeters of rain, which actually was a lot for us. And obviously it went into this worm bin, and these leaves and the composting material is super wet for these worms, and you know they are okay with it. In fact, the more humid a worm bin generally, the more likely they are to breed. And certainly humidity is needed for the cocoons to emerge, to hatch. So I'm not seeing cocoons here, but it is a jumble of material. See, these are some asparagus stems that we added. I can see a leek here. This is mixed with leaf matter that we added. So the worms are throughout. There's a juvenile. That could be a worm that we added because I didn't, look to see are they only adults we're adding. But this tower's been going a while. I will post it in the description. So the more likely when we see juveniles, that's a tiny one there. When we see juveniles like that, then chances are they are breeding and hatching in here. So I'm just turning this material up and seeing these worms making short work of this tower material. Now we filled these towers up high because we see worms crawling through our garden all the time, and I wanted the worms, see the holes right there along the side of the bucket? I wanted the worms to be able to get high enough in the material to get in and out of the tower if necessary. I actually don't think that's going to be possible. The next layer of holes down, let me just run my fork. There's definitely one down here, which is about 2.5 to 3 inches maybe below the soil surface, and that would be fine for a composting worm to be able to travel at that level. Obviously they're getting into our garden somehow. There's another little tiny wisp. Do you see that one right there? Mike, if you're watching, look at that tiny worm. Probably born right here in the tower. Definitely born in the tower. Awesome. So just digging up the leaf stems from the bottom. The worms will be back home, tucked in, nice and safe in a minute. So, but what was lovely is that they're right on the surface of this composting. So that shows me that these towers are working as designed. We put the lid on. That keeps the bin nice and dark. And then the other thing that we do to keep inquiring rodents out and raccoons, we put a brick on top. Notice there's still a little bit of water there, which we've seen bees come down and get, which is great. So when we sprinkle or when it rains, a little bit of water stays in the lid. The holes are on the outside of that, on the higher part of the lid. So the holes are for air, but they're also to let water in so that these towers will hopefully have a good self-regulation. They've got holes on the bottom, so I'm hoping they stay just right, and that looks great. All right, this was our hide-and-seek garden tower, and the worms are not playing hide-and-seek. They were right on top. All right, take care, everyone.